Hey people, I was talking to a girl last Friday about language, and she told me she took some Latin in school and that it was the base of all the European English and Spanish and French languages. And I told her that wasn't true. It was totally created just to hide the ancient language, and that Greek and Hebrew was all created from ancient English, and Latin was totally created to change the meaning of the Bible. And I'm fixing to prove it to you. If you believe what she said, you've been indoctrinated. But I'm fixing to show you the timeline. You always heard that time is money, and time is valuable, and time is precious. And if you Google time, AI jumps up here quick and says time is the never-ending continued process of existence and events. And at Wiktionary, they'll tell you that the word time comes from the Middle English time and the Old English time, from a Proto-Indo-European word to divide, relating to tide. And Old English tell you it's related to the Germanic time, hour, period of time, and age of the world, era, with some spellings here of some plural and some nominative from time on. But here in Revelations 4, you'll see it come up twice here in 4, 9, and 11. Honor is the time in. And I think it's the same down here in 11, and the honor, and then time in. And this word 5092, they'll say it's the price, time is valuable. They'll say it means honor or precious, time is precious. A price, time is value, time is money, money paid. And you can hit this arrow over here and it'll bring to a word before the 5091, which is the Old English time, they say meaning honor. And you can hit this arrow over here and bring it to the word after, and they say it means respected. And the I-O, I say that it becomes a E, it reads as a E in times. You can see it here, the T-me-os, they try to pronounce it like the Hebrew or something, but it's just plain times. Precious, costly, valuable, time is valuable. And the word after coming to the time it is, E, a time it is, or wealth, riches. So when you're reading in your King James Bible and it starts talking about her wealth, her riches, the word you should be on your mind is probably time. The time it is. Your time is precious. I'm working for my time. And the word after that, that's where your word Timothy comes from. The time it has, Timothy. Dear to God, time, and theos, God. And I'll show you when I get to Revelation 17 about what this God actually means. And the word after, the time on, or a time on, the time on, that's probably where your word money comes from. The mana, the time on, meaning valuable. And the word after that is a timer. And to be punished, you're serving time. And that's the timer it has in. You're working on a clock. The timer it has in. You're in jail. Might be punished. Time. Inflict a penalty. The timer. And, I say the IA reads as a U. And that's still the timer is your punishment. So this Revelations 4, this is the go-to for the astrotheologists when they claim that it's talking about the zodiac And they're 100% right. This chapter's all about time, and it's short. It's just these 11 lines. But when it's talking about the four beasts up here, the first living creature is the lion, and the second was likened to the calf, and the third having a face of a man, and the fourth was likened the eagle to flying. And that's what it's talking about. The first one was like the lion, and you come over. The next one is like the cow, and then you come over 2 more, and the next one has the face of a man. But that last one, it's not a flying eagle, it's a scorpion. And as soon as I'm done with this movie, I'll show you my theory on that. In the next movie, I'll show you this whole chapter. It's a short chapter. You can see it in the Berean here. And it's got this red lettering here after the legends and Medum of a Legend. You see some red lettering here. And then again here with allegiance, and it comes with a song here. And then again, to the throne of allegiance. And it comes with another little song here. And it explains about the time in here. But I got this whole chapter pulled off and color-coded all the like phrases. And so it'd be easier to see what this is talking about. But if you look in Revelations 22:6 down here, you'll see where the word Latino comes from. And true is how they interpret that, about the same as time. And all that tells me is the Latino is the one that's interpreting this for you. And Latin is Italic backwards. There was the true light, the foes, the light to a Latinon, the Latinos. And you can see in Revelations 19, it points them out more here, from out of the hand is the Chiros of this. In her hand, it's talking about the deliverance from the whore of Babylon. Babylon meaning confused words. And this is called Alleluia, but it means all yeah. And a matata wada. Matata and troubles. No worries. Kuna matata. No worries, no troubles. And matata wada. And trouble what a check of so. When you hear a noise, you check on it. The check of so as. And matata what a check of so as phone in a glow. Your phone lit up. You got a call. The fall you. That it fell on you. The call you got. From the gale of wind. From the gale of wind. The gala is the he-she singers. The gale of wind to the hour on. The heavens tell the time. The hour on allegiant as all yell ya. Everybody yell the esoteria, the inside secret knowledge, the esoteria, which the power is, the dynam is, the ass end of the lion, the dynam is, the power is, and the edit, the edit, TS, the edit so taught, TOUTH, taught, the taught how come on, and all yeah, esoteria, which the power is, and edits taught how come on. So that's what's going on right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm showing you how this Latina is edited. And at your Latinage, the edge, what you picked up on along the way, the Latinage, divage, the KIA becomes a VAV. Same as here, it's just a VAV, meaning and. Evolve meaning a U, a W, a V, or an and a divage, D-I-V-A-J, is a piece. When you divvy up your cut, a divage at your part. And at your Latinage, a divage, a crisis of two. You divvy up a crisis of two. Audi crive, the N followed by the E becomes a V, a crive. Not a V but a B, which reads as a B or a V or an N. And Audi crying, and crying it in the porn in, the harlot, the whore of Babylon, the porn in 10, from the Galen, it is, die through a feather, a tinge of in, the N, followed by the E is a tinge of in, instead of just a tinge in, it's the tinge of in, and through a feather. Yankee Doodle went to London riding on a pony and put a feather in his hat. That means it's corruptible. A feather is, a pimp wears a feather in his hat, and that's so everybody can see that he's a pimp, that he's corruptible. The dye through a feather, a tinge of in, the poor, and then the N is followed by the E here, so it becomes the B. It's not the porn anymore, it's the pour in. That's the ones that they pimping out. They get them poor girls, and the pour in, and the EIA reads as the EU, who, the pouring who of this, and through the feather a tinge of in, the pour in who of this, and it's a dick is, and to aim, AIM, not the blood, but where the dick is, and it's a dick is it to aim at on, the aim at on, do will on, the servant, the bondsman, the slave, you will do my will on, the do will on, whatever I say, the do will on, ought to, should, Vic, ought of Vic, from out of the Chiros of this. The Chiros, this is the symbol of, they say it means Jesus Christ. They say it's the first two letters of Christ. But it was the ancient army of Italy, the Chiros. You see it in the Hebrew Bible, it means your enemies. The Chiros of this. The Italy, the Italian army, the Roman army, the Chiros of this are the ones that are running the poor in who of this. A wets, W-E-T, a wets a dick is. A wets a dick is it to aim it on. They're screwing the poor girls in the bread line. But that's what apocalypse means. The Revelations, when you look at it in the Greek, it just says apocalypse. It's the apocalypse of a yo, any of. The call of the hooker, yo, any of y'all got $5 of, and the double N, reading it as an any of, yo, hey yo, any of y'all got $5, I got value, I've got time for some apocalypse, some apocalypse, they call the revelation. But it means an unveiling, appearing, coming, to lighten. Here in Leviticus 18, and of your sister, of your father, or of your mother, your aunt, of the natural sister of your father and mother being procreated outside, and you shall not apocalypse, uncover the nakedness. And so that's what all this book of Revelation is to uncover the nakedness of the Chiros, of the Latinos. And so you can see where they were embarrassed because they got caught pimping out the poor girls, and all yell of ya the esoteric, the inside knowledge, and edits of which the power is taught how, and taught how coming at ya latinage, a divage, a crisis of two. Divvy out a crisis. So that's what's going to happen, when I start giving up this information. Trump's liable to start a war, so nobody catches what I'm saying. They all pay attention to the TV. And the crisis of two. Addy a cry, Ben, then porn in 10. From the Galen it is. From the homosexual boy band. It is the feather in, a tinge of in. The poor in who of this wets a dick is in to aim it on, do will on, ought to vic the Chiros of this. And I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.